guys, we got something different on the channel today. We have a little problem with the car, and this time it's not a Fiero. So we're gonna walk through the entire repair. I've already done the preliminary diagnostics on the misfire. I know where it's coming from, and I'm just gonna go ahead and fix it and show you guys some interesting stuff along the way. I mean, if you find this kind of stuff interesting. I know I do, that's why I made this video. Alright, so let me show you what we'll be working on. The old Warhorse. My 2000 Oldsmobile Intrigue.
The all-new Intrigue, a sophisticated twist on a sports sedan.
Nothing seems to stop this car. She's 25 years old now, has over 100,000 miles on it, and just recently developed a really nasty misfire that completely took out cylinder number 2. She's gotten through a lot in 25 years, and she's not even thinking about slowing down. So I'm gonna take care of that and get her right back on the road. She's still pretty even for 25 years old. All right, let's get her in the garage and see what we can find here. All right, guys, I've got her in the garage. I've already removed the ignition coil, and as soon as I did, I saw something very interesting in the spark plug bore. So we're going to take a look after I pull the spark plugs out and show you what I find. Okay, guys, check this out. This is the spark plug from cylinder number 2. As you can see, this thing is it's wet with oil, and it's completely carbonized up. And if you look at the electrode, it's almost gone. It's almost non-existent. Now here we have the spark plug from cylinder number 4 and number 6 in much better shape than what we found from cylinder number 2, like you see here next to a brand new spark plug. Now you can see the difference in the electrodes on these spark plugs. Cylinder number 2 was definitely gone.
We're getting some oil leaking past the sealer going down into the cylinder for cylinder number 2, which may have been seeping onto the plug, causing all that built up carbon. Cylinder 4 and cylinder 6 do not have this issue of the oil leaking into it, so this may be the cause of our misfires. You can see here the oil is seeping right through the sealer, which means these valve covers are going to have to come off and be resealed.
Okay, since now we have the cause of our problem, now let's go and perform a little fix. We're going to replace the spark plugs, and we're going to start by adding some anti-seize to the threads, because the last thing you want is for your spark plugs to get seized up inside the engine. That's never a good time. So we're just going to put a little bit on the threads, then I put a little bit on the porcelain of the spark plug as well, so that the boot won't seize up against it, because I've been there too. Now I'm just going to install the spark plug, and we're going to torque it all down to spec. But before we do that, I'm just going to clean off some of that oil that's sitting in the spark plug bore, because I don't want that to go and hit the plug as it's going in, and then the plug is already covered in oil before we even fire the car up. So we're going to clean that up, and then we're going to go right back to installing the plug, and then we're going to torque it all down right to GM specifications. Alright, now I'm going to start just by putting the spark plugs in and threading them all the way down by hand. Never ever use a power tool to install something on an engine, because all you need is one little slip, one little cross thread, and then you're in for a world of trouble. Once I have this spark plug seated down, I'm going to take my snap-on torque wrench, and I'm just going to torque it right down to the exact specification, which is 15 foot-pounds of torque on these spark plugs. Now this snap-on torque wrench is amazing because it gives you audio and visual cues when you have everything torqued down to right where you want it. Now I'm just gonna go right through putting all the rest of them in, and we'll move on to the next step. Now I found it easier to install the boots onto the plugs in the engine as opposed to leaving them on the coils and trying to fit the entire thing into the block. You have a little more room to move the coil around with the boots already installed, so I just take them, put them in the bores, and just give them a nice little press so I hear them click on the spark plugs. Now once they're out of the way, you got plenty of room to move that coil and just drop it right on those boots. They're centered in the bores, you really can't miss. Once I'm satisfied that all the boots are firmly in there and on the plugs, I'm just going to take the coil and drop it right in there. Just move around one of the connectors by the front of the radiator there that's kind of gets in your way, and once you get past that, it just kind of drops right in. Then we're just going to install all the mounting bolts. Of course, we're going to put anti-seize on all of them because, like I said before, last thing you want is something seizing up on an engine. And then we're going to torque them all down to their proper spec using the snap-on torque wrench again. Really love that thing. Alright guys, it's all done on the front bank of cylinders, and now we're just going to reconnect the electrical connector we removed in order to get the coil out, throw our dipstick back in because it really does get in the way when you're trying to pull that coil out, and we're done with this side. So we're going to collect all our tools, and now we're going to get set to jump right in on the rear bank of cylinders, which is going to require a little more effort. Alright guys, to gain access to the rear plugs, you have to remove the engine cover. And once I did that, I laid a fender cover over the top of the engine because I'm trying not to break anything while I'm climbing up there. And it also helps to cushion the knees because that stuff can hurt. We're going to reach around the bottom there and we're just going to start taking the whole thing apart exactly the same way we did to the front. Okay guys, just thought I'd give you an up-close look. If you've never worked with one of these electronic torque wrenches, they really are an amazing device. You can just set your torque rating using the keys on the wrench, set whatever units you want, whether it's in foot-pounds or Newton meters, whatever you need, and then just go at it. And as I said before, they'll give you audio and visual cues to let you know when you've hit your target measurement. Because sometimes when you're upside down or whatever in a car, you can't really see all the torque ratings. Okay guys, this is the diagnostic equipment that we're going to be using to check our repair. This is the Snap-on Zeus. It's one of the best in the business and worth every penny. So we're going to go in and I'm going to show you a little bit of data and what I look for when I'm checking something like this. Alright guys, now that the plugs have all been replaced and the car, already ran the car, misfire's gone. We're just going to take a look at our codes here. We haven't cleared anything out yet. So we're going to jump in using our Snap-on Zeus scanner. I know you guys can't see anything but the screen here, but that's what I'm using. And we're going to look at all our powertrain codes and our engine misfire detected. So now what we do is we're going to go back. We're going to clear all the codes. Continue. I'm going to go back in and check. Make sure the codes are cleared. And all our codes are gone. Now, I'm going to show you the live data once we start the car up. Except for the fact that our battery's dead.
Stitch.
Let me get a jumper on it and we'll be right back with a car that starts. Alright guys, we're back. And sorry about that, but the battery died because I haven't driven this car very much. Or I haven't driven it at all in a couple of weeks. So, it is what it is. We're back up and running. Now, what I want to show you is we're going to go into our data display. Now, we did have misfire codes, so we go into our misfire data and look at what you can see with the right scanning equipment. Now, I'm looking at all of my cylinders, all the misfire counters on all cylinders. Now, what I had was a complete dead cylinder on cylinder number 2. And you would see the number just continue to increase and increase and increase as it misfired. Now, an easy way to look at it is on the graphs. This is the misfire for cylinder number 2. And it shows a nice steady firing pattern. Previously, I don't know if I saved the file, when I scanned it, this would be a completely jagged line. It'd be jumping all over the place. Every time it misfired, the car would pick it up and send the data here. But as you can see, all the cylinders are now firing completely smooth. There's 2, 4, and 6. 1, 3, and 5. And here you can see, at a quick glance using the scanner, exactly what every cylinder is doing, which is a really neat and quick way to diag which cylinder is misfiring. And then you can track down why, which we already know the why, and that's been corrected. And right now it's smooth as silk. She's back to running just like her old self again. Alright guys, gonna take her for a road test, and that'll be just about it for this repair.